It is a UNESCO World Heritage Site, filled with history and tradition, where the past grapples with change in the lives of people who call it home. Join us as we delight in the charm and character of Georgetown, Penang. Welcome to Asia Alive. It's said the legendary Ming Admiral Cheng Ho anchored his treasure fleet off these shores more than 600 years ago. And because there were many betel nut trees or binglang here, the island came to be known as Pulau Pinang. And that name, Penang, is what we call it today. Penang's location at the entrance of the Malaccan Straits made it ideal to a British Empire expanding eastwards in search of riches. A young sailor, Francis Light, saw the potential, and he sold a shady line to the Sultan that he will protect Kedah from the Siamese. A deal was struck, and a delighted Light claimed the island for the British crown. Not surprisingly, the first thing that Light did was to build a fort. With that display of military might, the Sultan, who realized he had been tricked, had no choice but to stick to the deal. Normal service, as the British love to say, was resumed. Fort Cornwallis became the foundation for a town. Light, perhaps in apple polishing mode, named it Georgetown, after his monarch, King George III. To his credit, Georgetown became a magnet for many seeking better lives. They brought with them the familiar things of home. The town grew in this rich mix of cultures grafted onto local Malay roots. Now, one of the most ancient expressions of the Malay tradition is silat, a martial art form tied to the Malay aristocratic courts. Continuing, developing, and passing on this heritage is 64-year-old Pak Zainal.
I wanted to carry on with the heritage of my masters that taught me silat and Penang silat.
Pak Zainal was about the age of these boys when he started learning silat from his uncle, here at Kampong Rawa. But it was a very different neighborhood back then.
I was young, 17, and a member of a gang, Kampong gang, from this side. And we hang around here in the evening. And we have another kampong from the other side where they have gangs from that kampong who hang around at the end of the bridge. And it was, maybe a fight for territory.
Back in those interesting times, practicing silat required a bit of hide without the seek.
This is where we have to train in secrecy hidden in the banana plantation is because we were not licensed by the police or the government, and it was illegal at that time. So that's why we trained in secrecy.
And Pak Zainal's uncle was teaching them in secret a hybrid and more potent form of silat.
To my uncle, the traditional system, a lot of graceful movement is irrelevant to actual fighting. A lot of dancing, a lot of graceful movement, which to him doesn't work in an actual fight. Whereas the hybrid system was formulated or designed for fighting. We were influenced by the Chinese forms, the Burmese, the Thai forms, and also some Indian forms. We were also influenced by the Western boxing forms.
It is this blend of forms that has kept Pak Zainal's version of silat relevant in the modern world.
3, 4. To me, you should learn this macam because it's actually a heritage of Penang. It's created in Penang. And we have the tradition, the old tradition, and also it's also relevant to the modern lifestyle.
The mix of old and new is also one of those things that appealed to Frenchman Damien Salmon.
I came in Malaysia 2 years ago as a tourist, and I found this place by luck on the internet website. So I came here, and I like what I found here. So I did 2 weeks training full time, and I come back now to do 8 months full training.
This capacity to embrace East and West, old and new, has long been a part of Georgetown's character. Soon after its founding, that allure turned Georgetown into a hub for the British in the Far East, and the architecture legacy is still evident today. One of the grandest colonial-era buildings is the Eastern and Oriental Hotel. This was the hangout for the cool crowd of Britannia. Travel back in time, and you'll be sipping cocktails with big names like Somerset Maugham and Rudyard Kipling. Victorian-era structures still dot Georgetown. Many of these stately colonial houses have been restored, and some are home to Penang's elite. But not all are in good condition, and even those that have been restored may not quite have the original spirit. This brings to the fore an issue Georgetown has long grappled with: keeping true to the heritage and ensuring its survival in a changing world. In an Asia where the old has often been pushed out, torn down, or razed to the ground to make way for the new, Georgetown's historic architectural landscape has become an endangered commodity. These buildings, some dating back hundreds of years, are a major reason why Georgetown is a UNESCO heritage site. Here, the past still has a place, but looking after these buildings and preserving their spirit has not always been easy. Shen Lo Lim is a passionate advocate of physical and spiritual conservation. One of his favorite old buildings is Suffolk House, the residence of Francis Light and subsequent British governors.
This place is amazing, and what's even more amazing is that when you step into it today, it's like you're stepping back into times.
Shen's parents spearheaded the conservation plan that saved buildings like Suffolk House. Their efforts led in no small measure to UNESCO's nod for Georgetown's heritage status.
As idealistic and ethereal as that might sound, The principles they use were really to restore the place to really its original fabric. So think about the body and the soul. Body is the physical, tangible fabric, the assets of a place. The soul are the intangibles, the memories, the people that have lived there, the several layers of culture, values, philosophies that have walked this very space.
Suffolk House is considered a success story. In recent years, however, land values in Georgetown have skyrocketed. That has attracted a lot of interest and investments in the historic structures. Problem is, not all conserved buildings may be keeping true to the original spirit, at least not for Shen. A prime culprit of such a trespass is Mcallister Mansion.
So this is an example of a place that doesn't really follow that philosophy. The exterior looks fine. The exterior has been restored to good heritage standards, but when you come inside, it's a modern hotel, it's a modern interior. Now that's not how it would have looked back in the day.
One reason why Shen holds such high standards is because of the Blue Mansion. This architectural gem, the former residence of Cheong Fat Zi, is the passion project of Shen's parents.
And here we are. This is it. This is the grand hall of the Cheong Fat Zi, the Blue Mansion. This is really where it all began for my parents. So this is the central courtyard. This is where all the life of the building really happened.
Shen's parents spent 7 years and 10 million Malaysian ringgit to bring this place back to its original splendor and spirit.
Cheong Fat Zi built this house on the principles of Feng Shui. Chose this site based on the Chinese compass. And right as we stand in this spot is apparently where the qi, or the energy, radiates from this house. It comes back to the principles of restoration, really, and letting the story of a place unfold. So when they first decided to restore this mansion, again, it was in complete ruins. You know, floorboards were coming off, there were leaks everywhere. It had housed almost 30 different illegal families that were living there.
When we walked into the central courtyard, the heart of the house, basically our jaws dropped. Despite the filth, the dilapidation, the motorbikes. Oh my God, this place is amazing. We talked about conservation for many years and we thought we should put our money where our mouths were. And that was basically what happened. But I love the way it's used because people are eating, they're sleeping, they're celebrating, you know, birthdays and weddings, lives, events. And this was the way Cheong Fat Zi actually enjoyed the house. This was the way he and his family used the house. And when I see it being used this way, it gives us great pleasure.
Today, the Blue Mansion is a boutique hotel with all the romance and aura of days gone by. The effort and money paid off. UNESCO gave it the Most Excellent Heritage Conservation Award for 2000. Still, the pressures of change are all too real for other historic buildings. And the passion of people like Shen and his parents will become increasingly critical.
There's a very real risk of it being lost amongst all the development, all the infrastructure, the thoughtless sort of urban planning, because, I am the steward of the next generation. I need to continue telling this story. I need to continue, applying this philosophy.
Beyond conserving the buildings, there's yet another challenge, perhaps an even bigger one that Georgetown faces, that of keeping its intangible heritage alive. Georgetown is a UNESCO heritage site, also because of its culture and traditions. But keeping these alive and well in a world swamped by the electronic and digital may be a bigger challenge than conserving old buildings. Nevertheless, it is a challenge that Go Hui-ling has taken on. While other young people may have their gazes turned to the new, hers is firmly fixed on a tradition that is her life and that of her family's.
这边就是我的陶艺馆呀，请进。
This Chinese art form has been with Hui-ling's family now for 5 generations. Teochew puppetry traces its roots all the way back to the Han Dynasty, more than 2,000 years ago. Hui-ling is a custodian of this ancient tradition. Indeed, today, Georgetown is the only place in the whole of Malaysia where it is still practiced.
我妈妈从12岁呢就开始操作木偶戏，到现在65岁。我们4兄弟呢都是从事这一行的，都是做木偶。所以我们4兄弟呢可以说是胎教啦，从他的肚子里面就已经听会了，所以也遗传了这个细胞。所以我们每一个都会演、会唱、会打。 都不需要特别去学。
Hui-ling and her siblings learned puppetry, the arias, and musical instruments from their mother. But she also inherited something from someone else very special.
其实我的外婆呢是做草剧的，所以从小呢我们就给外婆影响了，所以我从小就很想要去学做草剧，所以只有我一个人呢是站在台前，就是出来表演，所以其实家人呢就只有我一个是做演员，也是做偶师。我可以示范一下哈，我们的偶呢为什么叫做铁质木偶，就是因为我们就是用这3根铁质去操作的。 它最主要是第一个最主要的铁质呢是操作它的身体，就是 balance 它的身体。然后左手一个就是铁质，还有右手也是一只铁质，所以就3只铁质去操作它所有的动作。当我们唱歌的时候啊，我们就会有很多动作咯，比如我们这个是可以甩袖哈，这是文的，我们就叫甩袖。
Hui-ling has mastered puppetry and other aspects of Teochew opera. But how many are there like her? Tonight, Hui-ling and her family are putting on a show at a temple festival. They stage about 100 such performances each year. Times, though, have changed, and spectators are few. But still, income from shows like these are vital to keep the troupe going.
I 做这份工已经25年了，现在很少人做了，但是我们还是会继续去坚持、去维持还有推广。 因为希望下一代还可以看到我们这个传统的木偶戏。
Another day, another moment of supplication. And in such prayers are the hopes offered, not just Hui-ling's, but also those of people who seek to keep the heritage and spirit alive.
刚才我拜拜就希望祈求观音保佑我们阖家平安，然后爸爸妈妈身体健康，然后可以我们的这个剧团可以维持下去。
So, what will tomorrow bring for the heritage of Georgetown? Well, some will adapt to stay relevant. Others may require passionate champions to remind everyone what it's all about. And quite a few will have to depend on sheer dedication. It is on this thread of hopes and efforts that Georgetown's status as a World Heritage Site hangs. In a quiet corner on the northward fringe of Georgetown, you can find a cemetery that still whispers to you with echoes of the past. Here, the founder of Penang, Francis Light, lies in eternal repose. He would certainly be proud of Georgetown's growth. And chances are, he too will be as passionate about preserving the heritage of the place he claimed all those years ago for his king. Next week, we continue our exploration of Georgetown, the UNESCO World Heritage Site, and sample the art, food, street life, and more on Asia Alive.